So now I'm considering what to do about the actual height of my container over here, because as you see, I don't know, it's a different size uh, for each section because it's dependent on the content inside of there. So I have some options. Now the first option I have is just on the actual div container, that's that white block, which is my main content div container, I could add the height attribute. And I could add the height attribute, let's just say 44, okay? And because I want it to be a little bit longer than it is wide. If I do that, it's okay. Let me stretch this down a bit. Okay, this looks fine. I know this is the longest page over here, so maybe if I trim it down to 42, okay, that kind of gives me a kind of an even looking border around that table. So that looks good to me. And when I look here, there's a little more consistency, and this is pretty cool. I think this works out pretty well. One of the issues that I'll run into with this is when the visitor, if they have, depending on how they have their browser size, they could actually be missing out on content, right? And that's because of just the way I had to do this background. In order for this background not to have that scroll bar over there, I had to set the on the body and the HTML tag, I set this overflow hidden tag, right? So this could potentially have some usability issues. I'll admit that. So I just wonder what some of my other options are. Now, some of my other sizing options, which may be pretty slick, are to actually do the width and height based on, I don't know, let's say percentages. Let's do 60% width with a, I don't know, 70% height. Let's see what that does for us. Now, this, look, I kind of have, now I have that same problem. I kind of like the concept of that, but I don't necessarily like that happening. Geez, I mean, okay, this may not be the biggest problem because I think I could just add, let's see, I could add a certain height to my table and I may be able to squish it in there. This is risky business. I'm not sure this is gonna work, but I'm just curious. No, that's not gonna do anything. Yeah, I guess the point being is that I'm gonna have to do something about this overflow over here, and ah, exactly what I said. I could do something like overflow and I say hidden. Let's see what that would do. Yeah, see, that overflow hidden actually cuts that out. And now what I have is I like the effect. I definitely like the effect, but I don't like the fact that that content gets cut out. I mean, check this out. It's kind of cool here, but yeah, me losing the pictures or the video, that's not going to work out for me. So you saw that I used the overflow hidden. What I could actually do then, instead of saying hidden, I could set it to auto. And then what happens is I get this scroll bar. Now, it's tough because by setting that scroll bar, you kind of add this element that you may not like. And look at this. When I go from home to pictures, because pictures doesn't flow over the visible area, it doesn't need a scroll bar. So now I don't know, it almost seems like my layout's jumping around a bit, or at least this content is, but in reality it's not. There's I don't know. It depends, because what's more important than your design is that the content that you're delivering gets to the viewer. Because great that you have a good looking content, but if I'm visiting the aquarium and I'm here on February 5th and I'm only seeing everything up to February 2nd because you're doing this overflow hidden deal, well, that's poor design right there. That's exactly what it is. So I think personally, I think I'm willing to, let me see, I'll set the the width to maybe 80 even. Seems like I could set it to 80. That's a bit wide, but no, maybe I'll do it a little bit more, a little bit less. I'll set it to 70%. I like the fact that this thing is fluid, like so. And what I could do then is set that overflow to auto. And you know what? The consequences of me liking that zoom thing is that I may have a scroll bar. And maybe that's just fine, sort of. Maybe I'll bring the content up, the margin up a little bit up at the top over here. Yeah, maybe that's part of my problem that's so far up. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that's the best way to go about it. Oh, we're also worth mentioning is that a, if you have a content like this, although right now it's static, say that say you're a front end designer building something for a programmer, and the point and what they're trying to do is have the staff at the aquarium be able to update um, this schedule and upload more pictures. Your actual layout is going to need to be dynamic. So meaning that your layout currently only accommodates these pictures, but say they started uploading, I don't know, 50 pictures, and there's 50 pictures over here that they need to display. Then you're totally going to need a scroll bar to work that out and accommodate them. So this actual sizing strategy, or uh, div container sizing strategy may be appropriate for this. But like I said, you basically have a lot of options based on your current needs, but also taking into consideration potential future needs.